Hey, 1, 2, 3. Hey. Hi guys, hello everybody.
Hello.
How are you guys going? Welcome to MMW Day with your girl Reg. And if you're joining me for the first time, you know that this week is Wednesday and today is Wednesday, and I am joining you from Perth. And like I always said, life is good, God is great, and situations are awesome. When we go through a situation and challenges in life, guess what? They make you unbeatable, unbreakable, and man, you are undefeatable. This is the African story, and I am so thrilled that you're joining me today. Hey, see who we've got? Precious! So this is my girl, Precious, and she has agreed to put up with me today. So welcome, Precious. This is my girl.
Thank you,
Guys,
Regina.
welcome, Precious.
It's good to be here.
It is so good to have you on to MMW today. Thank you so much for making up time for me and for the audiences at MMW. You guys, this is the girl. She's the bum.
Yeah.
She
You
is.
forgot one thing.
Okay.
You know the very important thing.
She's Liam's godmother.
That.
She
that part.
is Liam's godmother. Believe me, I didn't have a choice in that.
Oh.
Tell us more about yourself, girl.
I'm just that girl, that small girl living small life. Actually, scratch that. I'm that big girl living a big life.
She's a big girl. Like I said, she's a bum. You want to be rolling with her. Okay, so we are talking about something important today. Remember last week we talked about mental illness. We talked about Mental Health Africa. So this is the continuation of that conversation. So I thought to bring Pressure on board because she seems to have quite a bit of knowledge about mental health. So I thought it's good to collaborate with somebody. So that's why Precious is here today. So today we're talking about all things mental health, and mostly our audience are Africans for this topic and this conversation. So our audiences are Africans, both home and abroad. So So Precious, you know, there are a few things we need to get out of the box. First of all, what is your take on, you know, to this mental health thing? What do you think about it? What is your point as an African? Where do you stand with the whole mental illness and the stigma, you know, associated with mental illness? What is your take on that?
Well, if we have to look at mental health from an African perspective, I think it's that thing that we need that is seen as a taboo. Yeah, of course, because of African culture, it is something that is we need it, but we don't know we need it. It is seen as a taboo, something that we shouldn't actually be talking about. But in actual sense, we need to be talking about, because our mental health is the most important thing. Once your mental health is not there, every other thing will be imbalanced. It will be it will be shaky. So it's something that we really need to look at, and it will be good if we reach the level where it is something normal, and it doesn't have to be taboo. It doesn't have to be something we don't have to talk about. If we reach that stage of if I have a problem, I can easily talk about it than keep it in. If we reach that level of, you know, letting people know that it's okay to talk about things. So you don't have to look at someone who's going through mental illnesses as a crazy person or something that is, like someone that doesn't have it all together. But it's something that we need to really, really work on, because it's not going to be easy to put it out there, but it's really something we need to talk about, and it has to be normal. So
I mean, just like you said, it's a taboo when it comes to mental health, especially in Africa and amongst African. It doesn't really have to be in Africa. You know, even here overseas, you kind of see that every time an African is struggling with something, they don't want to step forward, you know, to say, okay, this is what, pretty much they don't want to honor, you know, they don't want to honor, like, okay, I'm going through this and this is happening. So it is, and it's very important. So that actually brings me to the next question, or the next discussion I want us to have. You know, why do you think us as Africans, why do you think we respond negatively, you know, to mental health or mental illness? And why is it such a huge dilemma in an African culture? Why is it a problem for somebody to have mental illness in Africa?
Well, it's considered as a taboo. It's not something that is talked about. It's considered as a taboo. If you have mental illness, there's something wrong with you. They don't look at it as it's an illness. It's something that can actually be resolved, or it's just a taboo. People don't talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. If you have mental illness, you're weak. There's something wrong with you. People just brush it off like it's one of those things, but it's actually a very important thing. Mental health is very, very important.
Yeah. And saying that culture has a lot to do, because
It does.
I remember that when the definition of culture is a way of life. It's a way of life. So if you kind of have that culture where talking about mental illness is a taboo, where people respond negatively to mental illness, it becomes a lifestyle, because culture is a lifestyle, So it becomes a lifestyle where people automatically or unintentionally respond negatively to someone who is struggling with things. And I also believe that another reason why Africans in particular respond in a negative way when it comes to mental illness, because most of us believe, or most Africans believe, that anyone who is going through a mental health or mental illness means maybe they've got a spare cast on them.
It's demonic. You have demons.
Demons in you. You've been bewitched, and you pretty much have a spell that is cast on you, and you've been bewitched, or you have an evil spirit, or you're demonic. So nobody wants to be closer to someone who's got an evil spirit. Nobody wants to be closer to somebody who has been bewitched or have a spell. So the best way to deal with such a person is ostracize them.
Even avoid them.
Avoid them.
Completely.
Get them out of the way, because you don't want to be associated with that sort of negativity. And just like you said, because of culture, it's become a social norm. Like I said, culture is a way of life, so it's become a social norm where people just unintentionally, respond to that. But then my question is, this is a personal question now.
Can I just add something else?
Yeah, sure.
I think also the other thing is not having information about it. Apart from culture, not having information about it is also a problem, because people just don't know what is going on. They just know this thing is happening to me, but they don't know what it is exactly is happening to them. And when you don't know what is happening to you, it's so hard to find a solution. Yeah, so it's, I think, lack of knowledge as well. Not knowing exactly what they're dealing with.
What is happening to them. Okay, that's good. On a personal level, though, have you ever
I don't know why I'm laughing.
That's hilarious. Now I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing too, because you're laughing. Anyways, on a personal level, because we have dealt with people, we deal with people every day, and just a personal question: have you ever, unintentionally responded negatively to somebody who you feel like, okay, this person is going through depression, for example, is going through anxiety, or having fear of the future, or just being fearful at all times, because these are some of the symptoms of mental illness. Have you ever respond negatively to anybody?
Of course I have.
Wow.
Girl, I'm African.
Ooh, she's African. I'm not. I'm just black. I'm not African. I'm Black American, yo.
I'm joking. But yeah, I have. And yeah, it's that thing of where in a moment you forget what your friend is going through, and you just respond out of like impulse, just quack. Then you sit down and you're like, oh man, that was the wrong answer for this period of time. And yeah, I have.
I mean, okay. It's honest, it's honesty is important. Like, okay, in your response, how did you realize that, okay, maybe I've gone too far, or maybe I've crossed the line here, and I think my response was bad, and I think I'm being unsupportive towards what this person has told me. Did you realize that in the moment, or it was after, pretty much when you went home and you thinking about it, that's when you realized that, okay, I think I went on the wrong side?
So here's the thing.
How did you realize it? That's what I want to know. How?
In a moment, like when a person is going through mental health, sometimes we
Mental
forget
illness.
where they are. Mental illness, sorry. We forget where they are as a person. And whatever, when someone is going through something, whatever they're telling you is not really from their heart. They're just, trying to release some,
Yeah.
some anger, trying to, yeah. So if you're quick to respond to that, you're going to make a very big mistake. So the mistake I made was not to understand where exactly they were at that point. Yeah. On a normal day, I would really respond like that. But at that time, it wasn't the right answer. It wasn't the right thing to say. So after a while, I went home and I thought about it. I'm like, man, I messed up.
She messed up, guys.
I messed up. That was the wrong thing to say, especially now, because I knew exactly what they were going through. And I had to call them, like, you know what? Why I didn't really mean what I said. Yeah. And the other thing that made me, apart from that particular incident, the other thing that really makes me know certain things. Sometimes you may come across someone and you don't know what they're going through and you just respond quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm a Christian. I believe in the person called the Holy Spirit. Yeah. At times when I'm not aware of certain things, the Holy Spirit just reminds me of something, like, Precious, what you did. It just feels so heavy in my heart. Like, okay, what you did, they're not meant to do it. And right there and then, if I'm able to reach them, I'll reach them and just try and tell them no, what I said was overboard. And yeah.
Well, it's very important to be sensitive
that's the word.
To everything. To be sensitive to people around you and don't get caught up in you, okay, in what you think is the right thing at that time, what you think, okay, I believe this is the right thing, because it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about that moment in time when that person is experiencing that whatever feeling it is that they're having. It's not about you. Keep in mind that it's about them.
It's about them
and
at
that moment it's about them. So whatever response you have to give them will actually determine if they come back to you the next time to tell you what they're going through.
That's true.
So keep in mind that it's not about you. I mean, lucky for Precious, she was able to pick up that, okay, I think I went too far, that was too much. But some people don't.
That's true.
Some people really don't, realize that, oh, wow, I actually did mess up. I shouldn't have said that. They keep going. And they don't realize that in their talking or in their responses, they're actually hurting this person because the person is already hurting. You know what I mean? So it's very important that we are careful of our response. And
can I just add another thing? And I think the other way I realized what I did was wrong is actually because I have information about mental health. If I don't, I'll just brush it off. I was just like, she was upset. She's not in the right place of mind. So what?
Of course, everything go back to her.
Everything go. Yes. But if your friend is going through a period of mental illness, there are some things that you don't say to them at that moment. And knowing that is very important because it goes a long way. You choose your words carefully around them. Yeah, so it's the knowledge as well. The knowledge helps.
Like I always say, knowledge is power. When you have knowledge, you have the ability to make informed decisions. So having an insight about mental illness and what it is help you respond better to it. So the next question on the list is that how can we as a community recognize mental illness, or when someone is going through a phase where they're struggling with their mental health and things have gone. How can we acknowledge or recognize it as a community, or even as an individual, that your friend is struggling, because there come a time where, we're not perfect, right? There come a time where we struggle with us. So how do we recognize that?
I think the very first thing would be they'll stop doing the normal thing that they love to do. They withdraw. They stop doing like the normal things, the usual things they do. Most of them they enter into like a real depression. They don't want to eat. They don't want to go out. They just want to be by themselves, and that's for them at that time. That is
It's the right thing.
yeah, it's the right thing. They don't want to do anything, so they try to avoid the things that they usually enjoy. And the other thing is, for the other people, it's completely the opposite. Other people will begin to eat more. Other people will begin to smoke.
Yeah.
Other people will excess drinking. Yeah. So it's just like some it's less of the things they do. Some it's the excess. They do things excess. Do it more than usual.
Yeah. I mean, just like when you talked before, you talk about knowledge about mental illness. Another thing I believe is that when you have a knowledge about mental health, and what abnormal and normal behaviors are, you are able to tell, from someone that or even if you don't know the person, you can be able to tell what is abnormal, what an abnormality is in the behavior. So you can tell. Again, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And also, seeing someone displaying in such a way, seeing a displaying of abnormal behavior, somebody acting in a way that they shouldn't be acting, that a normal person will not act that way. And then in the African community, I like this thing to say. They actually said that, this person is rude and disrespectful.
Yeah.
If you actually look at it, I mean, nobody will be that disrespectful to disrespect themselves on the usual basis all the time. If we have bad days, but it's not all the time.
Yeah.
Where you go onto Facebook, for example, or you go onto social media and start abusing people, and it become a norm for that person, and you think the person is rude, but it's not rudeness. There could be something more that is actually going on with that person that they meet the eye. If they were to. If a mental, analysis was to be done with that person, believe me, there will be chances where a diagnosis will be made that this person is struggling with this sort of, mental condition. So it's not rude. It's not. You can't label the person to be rude. There is more to that person, and for people who are around that person, I mean, if you're afraid of those people, if you're afraid, you just encourage them to pretty much see somebody. See somebody, because you need to help them. You're the one who is seeing it. They can't help themselves, because when there is an alteration in your mental state, most of the decisions you make are impaired. So you're not making informed decisions. You're making decisions that are, that are impaired, but people around you can actually, come like, what, this thing has been going on with you for a while. I've realized that, your behavior is not normal. This is not a normal behavior, because it's something we do on a usual basis. You know what, this is my opinion to you as a friend. I think you should talk to somebody. Don't tell them you need to seek help, because if you say you need to seek help, it makes them feel like, okay, something is wrong with me. And nobody wants to feel like, nobody wants to feel like something is wrong with them. So just tell them, talk to somebody. And talk to a counselor. It's not mean that you just, to get out your feelings. So once they go to that counselor or the psychologist and they're getting out their feelings, then the psychologist can be able to see the abnormal behaviors and say, okay, you know what, this is what I think is wrong with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Regina, the other thing is, this is where we come in as a community or as people. Sometimes let's just be human. Like, let's just be kind. It's not every day that someone is insulting, someone is misbehaving, and you just make a quick judgment that they're bad. At times, take a step back and just think, is it that they are really bad, or is there something that they're going through at this moment? Let's just be human and just be kind. In as much as it's not easy, you might never know what someone is going through, your neighbor is going through. So just let's be kind.
Kindness goes a
reach out.
Reach out. Like, compassion does a lot of things. And then my other question is, why is mental illness a huge taboo in the African culture? I know we've answered that before, talking about, evil spirits and being bewitched or
let's
being
take
demonic.
The demon out.
Let's take the demon out of them, why?
I think, like we said earlier, I think it's because we don't have much information about it. There's no one talking about it. I think that's why we're even doing this interview, to make people understand that these things actually happen. And when it's happening, it shouldn't be looked at as oh,
Yeah.
what is she going through? Here she comes again.
Exactly.
But it should be looked at as, okay, this person needs help.
Yeah.
They need to be helped.
Yeah.
So it's information, and well, it's the 21st century. we need to come to a place where mental illness is it's talked about normally, like just as we talk about malaria. Yeah, malaria now. Now I've got malaria.
Yeah,
someone can tell you, no, get Panadol, get chloroquine or whatever it is that they
Chloroquine. I can't
chloroquine.
pronounce that.
I think I took that sometime back.
I must have taken it. It's very. I think it's a tiny. Is it yellow? I don't know. Yeah, it's a tiny yellow tablet.
Yeah,
I can't remember now.
Yeah, so we should come to a
place where we talk about it.
We talk about
all
it
the
freely.
time.
When someone says, I'm going through this, you show them where to go.
Yeah.
Or you know the right things to tell to them. Yeah, like just as we do with malaria, go take this, go take this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I also believe that the reason why mental illness is such a huge dilemma in a community or in the African culture is because when somebody, first of all, the terms they use for mental illness, let's just clear that, it's crazy. Crazy. So when somebody is crazy, that person is considered a curse to the family. Or a shame to the family or whichever community they are part of. And with the lack of knowledge that people have about mental health and what a mental illness is, and also combined with the cultural perspective of what they think when somebody is struggling with mental illness, who they are, crazy, just make it very, very difficult, because nobody wants to be associated with crazy.
The word crazy. It just
this
makes
person,
the person worse.
Exactly. This person and this person is going through this, so the person is crazy. And because the person is crazy, they kind of shun them out. And when they shun them out, it's a shame to them. Because it's a shame to them, they actually shun the people out and kick them out. And they actually chain them and put them in a place where nobody is associated with them because they are crazy.
This person is just known as a crazy person.
As a crazy
in
person.
The family. She's crazy. She's crazy. She does crazy things.
Yeah, so instead of seeking help, well, in some cases they do seek help for them. They take them to the ritualist.
Even pastors.
Yeah,
go and cast
there you go.
out.
Yeah, they take them to the ritualist. They take them to pastors. They take them to the shrine.
Girl, it's English.
Shrine. Yeah, they take them to the whatever the ritualist would do. They take them to the ritualist to go and perform ceremonial things for them to cast out the demons, the craziness, and the evil spirit out of them. But then the thing is, you can't deal with the medical condition in a spiritual way. If it's a medical condition, you have to find a medical way to deal with it. But because they don't know, and also cultural beliefs, like you said before, makes it a huge taboo in the African community. And such worldview, because it's a worldview right there. That's how we have grown up. So it's a worldview that is part of you. And the only way you can break that worldview is to be receptive to learning. To be receptive to receiving information and transforming the way you're thinking. But how many people are willing to do that? That's where the problem is. Okay, so what are the things that you say or do for somebody who's struggling with the mental health, or you suspect that this person has mental illness, or you know that this person has been diagnosed with a mental illness? What are some of the things you do and say to them?
Regina, I think when a person is going through mental illness, the very first and the most important thing is just being present. Be present. Let the person know you are here. You don't even have to say anything. Just be present. Let the person know, you know what, I'm here. No matter what happens, I'm here. I think that's the most important thing. I mean, you're right. Presence, it means a lot. You can be present but be absent as well. So if you're present, you need to make your presence felt. That you are there for them and with them. So that way they can feel the support that is there. And also be a good listener. Be a good listener. It is not about you
You know,
not.
even if they don't say anything, all you have to do is just presence says a lot. Being a good listener says a lot. You know, you don't have to talk. They don't have to talk, but you just know that you're listening to the breath when they breathe, and you're listening to the body language. You can see it, you know, but you are just there. You know, so be a good listener. When they're telling you what they're going through, do not interrupt them by making it about you.
Don't make it
or
about
saying,
you.
oh, I've gone through this. Oh, okay, let's just leave that for later. But be a good listener, you know, and extend a hand of compassion. It goes a long way. You know, it's okay.
It does.
It's okay. If you don't even say anything, but just that shoulder being there provides comfort.
It means
you
a
know,
lot.
Exactly, you know.
It does mean a lot.
Just extend that hand of compassion to the person, and you know, also don't leave them by themselves. You know, just make time and say, okay, this person needs me right now. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna make that sacrifice and be there for them. So what are the things you don't say? Don't say. These are the things you don't say at all.
Don't say this one. Let me even make the African face. Don't say everyone else is going through it.
No, you don't say that. You just don't say that at all.
Don't say it.
Like, no.
You don't say
Don't
it.
say it.
Oh, the other thing that really annoys me, Regina, if we talk about, well, it's under mental illness as well. Like, for example, there's this annoying statement that comes from, like, Africa especially. When a person has been raped, you hear someone saying, "What were you wearing?"
Oof, it's my fault, hey.
That is telling the person that you are a contribution.
You contribute.
But that shouldn't even be there.
Wow.
It shouldn't even be the question.
Wow.
It shouldn't be the question.
Wow. You know what? Talking about that, you know, I thank you for bringing that up, because, you know, I remember talking to this young girl a few years ago, and I've heard so many things, so many negative things about her. And believe me, I'm not old, I'm also young, okay? But I've heard so many things about this girl. And there came a time where she actually confided in me, because she thought like, okay, I'm messed up as well. So she saw somebody who is messed up and thought like, okay, I can relate. You know, I can relate to her messed up things. So
she saw someone relatable.
Exactly. She saw somebody relatable. I wasn't being perfect. I was being a messed up Reg. And she saw messed up Reg, and she go like, you know what? I can relate to messed up Reg. So I should open up to her. And she apparently told me what she's gone through when she was when she was in her youth, maybe about 8 years old or something. And this girl told me that she was actually abused by her uncle in the house. Her mother, big brother, I think, and abused her. And when he did that to her, he said, because she's a big girl, you know, she's not small, she's big. She said he told her that when you tell your parents, they won't believe you and they'll say it's your fault. You see? And she held that for a long time. It kept happening. And every time he come home, it made her feel uncomfortable. I think there came up time, and she felt like, according to her, she said she felt like her parents never liked her, and especially her mom, because she was a big person and she wasn't her expectation. So she didn't like her. So I think there came a time where she confided in her mother, and exactly what the abuser said, that's what happened. Her mother told her that it was her fault because of the way she carried herself. And she said to me that destroyed her so bad, because she didn't have anybody to protect her. The person that she went to protection trying to finger at her, and she was young. Until then, this girl has struggled so much to gain the approval of her mom and also her dad.
She's getting it from wrong places.
Exactly. She tried so hard. There was a time where I think she was in uni and she was struggling with the course that she's enrolled in. And I said, why can't you change the course? And she said, the reason being because I want my mom to be happy with me. It was very sad. She said, I want my mom to be happy with me because I've never felt like my mom loved me. So if I do this for her, she's going to like me. She's going to be happy. So that's what she said. And I felt sad for her. And I'm like, okay, not only that, she was also very open to men, in the sense that whenever she saw a man, you know, she became intimate with them and tried to get attention. And it came a time when I told her, like, you know what? I think we need to go see somebody. You know, we need to go see somebody. I was a student at the time, but I volunteered to pay for a counselor, a Christian counselor, so she can go and talk to somebody, because she really haven't pulled out her heart and what she's gone through and the way forward, you know, to moving away from it. She's still caught up in the past. Now that you need to go seek somebody, you need to go talk to somebody. I tried so many times, it didn't happen. At the end of the day, it never happened. But yeah, she also said that she talked to a religious, you know, a religious authority, someone who was in power in the church. And she said when the moment she spoke to that person, and after then, every time she saw this person, she saw the judgment in their eyes. And they looked at her very differently from the way they used to look at her before. Yeah, so it's really, really important to not try to do the blaming game and saying that it's all your fault. And because I have the right to dress the way I want to dress. That doesn't mean you should abuse me because I choose to dress a certain way.
I know.
You know?
It's just crazy. It just breaks my heart that you go to someone that you look up to for help, and instead they blame you.
Yeah.
And you grow up with that.
You grow up with that, yeah.
You grow up, you feel like you need to do extra things to please the people that are supposed to be applauding you.
Right.
You know, it's not something, you know, it's not something that you want your children to go through. Yeah. So we really need to change the narrative.
Yeah, we need to change it. We need to change the narratives. And then how can we change that narrative, Precious? How can we close the gap? You know, the gap of that lack of knowledge and about mental illness, and how do we close the gap? What are some of the things we can do, you know, to close that gap and make people more aware and increase the knowledge and increase the awareness, and you know, educate people more to just reduce the stigma and the judgment associated with mental illness?
I think it's just it's something that we have to do intentional. We have to be intentional about it, because I can say let's tell people to go to counselors. But Regina, if you have to be real, an average African, like not the ones in the city, the ones in the villages, know nothing about mental health. So it's something that we really need to be intentional about. Send counselors there. Send ambassadors there. People don't know. African, like the ones in the city, they have like a chance of even coming across this information because of technology. But the ones in the village, where are they going to get the information from? So this is where we have to be intentional about it. Send people there. Let them know that when you're going through this, it's not a normal thing. You can get help.
That's right.
Yeah. So sending people there, you know, just being intentional about it. Let not people be dying in silence because of culture.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And I also believe that one way we can do that, like we say, like, is to create an awareness. And that awareness can include continually talking about the importance of mental health. You know, the importance of looking after yourself.
Yeah.
Because we know in Africa, the women do pretty much everything. Oh my God. You know, they'll be cooking in the kitchen, they'll go to the market. When they come back from the marketplaces, they'll come home, they'll cook, they'll bath the kids. By the time these women go to sleep, they are so exhausted, and there is nobody to talk to about what they're going through. And they wake up again and start over.
And
there is no reliever.
They don't have to.
They don't have to complain about it, because when they complain, society tell them, like, you know, shut up, it's normal.
Yeah,
you know, you're weak.
Everyone
is doing the same. What's different from you? What's different from you? And they started over again in the next morning, and there is no reliever. There is nothing like, okay, let me get an apple juice and put my foot up, you know, and just relieve myself of whatever it is I've gone through today. It keep piling up. And that's when sometimes you realize that, okay, someone just died all of a sudden, and you're like, oh, this person wasn't
just
sick,
okay,
and they died. Why would they die? It could be because of so much stress that maybe when they went to sleep, they had a heart attack. And they decided to die because there was so much going on with them that they couldn't talk to anybody, you know, and it kept piling up. And also that awareness can include, you know, like you said about counseling services, making counseling services available in schools, you know, make them available in schools where, you know, it is free access, you know, where kids know, like, all right, if I'm going through a stress of I'm being bullied, But somebody, there is someone that I can talk to apart from my mom that have that phase. You know what I mean? I can talk to somebody, people in uni as well, when they're going through that, they know like, okay, there is a counselor available. I don't have to save money to go and see them. You know, I can actually walk in there and talk to somebody about the stress I'm going through, about my grades, you know, about what is happening to my parents back home, that they can't, you know, send money for me to complete my course this semester. You know, because these are things that university students go through every day, you know,
sure.
about the school fees. And also making mental health a mandatory subject in school. You know, that should be included in the school curriculum, where mental health is actually a subject. That people are taught.
Just
you know,
like
so
they do with math.
Exactly, they do math in English and history as well. So mental health should be as a subject that they're taught and how to, you know, to do it. And talking about mental health, and we'll talk about the villages. Sending ambassadors in villages is very important, you know, to get you know, to get this. And you can also send them in the marketplaces. The ambassadors can go in the marketplaces because women are there all the time. That's where they work.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, they can go in the marketplaces. They can display banners, and you know, they can talk about mental health. You know, they can make people aware. So once they come back, you know, once they're talking there, a woman can just be passing by and go there, and they can talk to them more about, okay, this is mental health, this is important, and this is what mental illness looks like, and things like that. And because those villages, they don't have access, you know, to the facilities, and you can actually train a local in a village, because there is.
That's a very good point.
Ambassadors wouldn't be coming. If an ambassador is coming in the village to talk about mental health, how often would they be coming?
That's true.
But if a local in the village is trained about mental health and mental illness, and the resources are given them, so when somebody in the village are going through things, they don't have to wait 3 months or 4 months before the ambassador comes. They can actually go to a local and have a discussion. It's like a therapy for this person, you know. Talk about it, and then they can educate them more about what they're going through.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. Yeah, that's a good point, really. Because it's not every time that ambassadors will be there. But having someone really there, train someone they know, someone they relate to. Yeah, I think it would be so easy to even get to them, to make them understand what they were dealing with. Because it's someone that they know. Yeah.
Exactly. Wow. Anyways, this is a good discussion, Precious. Thank you so much for coming. And just one more thing. If somebody is listening to this right now and that person is struggling with the mental health, and they feel like, okay, you know, there is nobody I can talk to. How can I seek help? You know, no one is there for me. What will you say to them right now?
It is going to be fine. You are going to be okay. What you're going through has a solution. Get in touch with your friends, family, the people that are close to that you can trust. Talk to them. The people that you can trust. Talk to them. But it's okay. You're going to be fine. And if at all there's no one else you can talk to, you can actually contact this page.
Yeah.
We can find a way somewhere. I know she'll go all out. She's crazy like that.
I can't help myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's just something.
If you contact this page, she'll know the people to talk to. It doesn't matter where you are. She'll know the right people to talk to. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those who are listening to this and you're in Africa, you don't have the services, you know, provided for you, or you don't know what to do, your first step is talking to someone closer to you.
Yeah.
You know,
very important.
Talk to your network of people that you have around you, and let them know what's happening to you, and yeah, just let them know what's happening with you. They will help you at that moment in time, especially when you don't have, you know, the facilities, or you don't have money to reach out for those services. Talk to the little support you have in there right now, and that is your network of trustees that are with you. Talk to them. And
can I say something as well?
Yeah, sure.
You are not weak.
Yeah, no, you're not.
You are not weak. Whatever it is that you're going through, you are not weak.
Something is not wrong with you.
Something is not wrong with you. You are not weak. It's gonna be okay. It is gonna be fine. Yeah.
So us as a community, I mean, there are a lot of things to focus on, but mental health is very important. So that's why we decided to bring this talk, because we believe that a lot of things are going wrong in our community and people are taking their lives only because they don't want to be shamed, and they don't want to seek help. But there is actually help available for the people who are in Africa. This is actually a good resource that you can use for putting things together and how to close the gap when it comes to the increased stigma and judgment, and also the culture surrounding mental health and mental illness. Anyways, thank you so much for coming, Precious. It is so lovely to have you on the show. I am so thrilled, and I wish we would do this again. I'm going to pull you by your hair again next time for us to do this. But I'm so thrilled that you came.
She's not joking.
I'm not
She's
joking.
Gonna pull me by my hair.
I'm not joking. Whatever I say, I mean it. I'll pull her by her hair to get her back onto the show, because I need this girl. Okay. So thank you so much for coming, and it was lovely to have you guys. Precious.
See you guys.
Bye bye.